You're watching a clip of me from over 10 years ago, shredding a Telecaster in front of a few hundred people. Now, if only that little punk took this lesson I'm about to show you, I could be years ahead in my guitar playing abilities today. Teaching yourself guitar has never been easier. Now, I know it's still a challenge, and I'm not going to say it's easy, but there have been some serious developments in the world of technology that make your life a lot easier. Now, as a professional guitar instructor for the past 10 years, there's something that I want you, the self-guitarist, to know about improving. Now, there are 4 things that you really need to be working on during every single practice session if you're serious about improving quickly. So I want to show you how we use modern technology to tackle those 4 things that we need to have in our guitar practice. Now, let's look at just one element of how playing and learning the guitar has gotten a lot easier. Guitar tuners. Think about this. Before the year 1983, there were no electronic guitar tuners. If you wanted to tune your guitar, you had to tune it by ear to another instrument, or you'd get a tuning fork or a pitch pipe that would give you the note A. You'd try to tune your A string to that, and then you'd have to tune your other strings to the A string using your ears. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a really hard thing for a beginner guitarist to do. If this is the first time you're picking up a guitar, tuning like that is not gonna be possible. Whereas if we look at today, some of the technological advancements, right? Right now, you've probably got a phone in your pocket that probably has a guitar tuner in it already, right? You've probably got some kind of guitar tuner app on there, right? And that's just one example. All across the board, not just in tuning, but every single skill on the guitar has become a lot easier due to technology. And I'm really excited to show you some of these tricks today. So the first one I wanted to talk about is a really important one. Learning songs, right? That's one of the reasons why we're all here. If you want to play music, you should probably learn some songs. Now, 2 of the best resources for guitar tabs out there are actually totally free. Songster is one of them. Songster is an amazing tool that's got pretty much every song you've ever wanted to learn with some really high quality tabs. You can also play it directly on Songster and listen back to hear what they sound like. Now, one of the other great free tools is YouTube. I find those are the 2 main good ones these days as far as free tabs go. You got YouTube and you got Songster. Between the 2 of those, you can find pretty much anything. If you're looking for chords and lyrics, that's where the free Ultimate Guitar is your best friend. You can find lyrics with chords on top to pretty much any chord strumming song out there on the free Ultimate Guitar. So that is a fantastic resource that I use all the time if I'm looking for chords. Now, while there are amazing tabs out there, totally free at the click of a button, one thing you gotta really remember with guitar tabs is that there's a lot of inaccuracies. Even in so-called pro tabs, you might find mistakes. So tab, it's so important that you're not just referencing the tab. You need to have the original song up as well. Listen to the song, then look at the tab. Like, listen to like a 2-bar small section on the song, then look at it on the tabs and figure out how the tabs equal the song. Tabs are kind of a dumbed down system for reading music, right? They don't tell you how long notes last for. All they really tell you is where the note exists on the fretboard. That means that tabs cannot be used by themselves. You have to reference the original song with tabs or you're not gonna get anywhere. So one thing I really like to do in this day and age is practice in front of the computer. And I'll divide my computer screen up into half of it being the tabs. The other half, I'll have the YouTube video on there. So I'm constantly pushing pause, play on the YouTube video and referencing the tabs on the other side. It's the best way to do it. Like I said, don't go through tabs without referencing the original song. And then another really important side to tabs that a lot of people don't talk about. Once you've got those free tabs, get it up here as soon as possible. Get it off the paper and get it memorized as soon as you possibly can. So while there are a lot of amazing free tab resources out there, just remember that you have to be referencing the original song. The second thing that you need to have in your practice session was rhythm study or timing study. Now, there is a direct correlation between how much time you're spending with the metronome and how good you are sounding on the instrument. The more time you spend with the metronome, the better you sound when you're playing. It's that simple. But one of the other big things I want to stress to people for learning rhythm and timing is it's really the only way to have tons of fun playing, right? And to really let go and be free playing music. If you're sitting there having to think constantly and be like, oh, it's down, 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 up, right? If you're having to think about the timing constantly, you're not going to be having any fun. You're never going to be able to just lay back and feel the music. Your brain will always have to be so active with these different, strum patterns and timing things, where if you get good at rhythm and timing, you can just kind of sit back and play and not think so much anymore. So it's imperative for your enjoyment of the instrument that you start studying timing. Now, one of the things with metronomes is they make a clicking sound, right? They click at a steady pace that you can play along with to improve your timing. Now, that click can be annoying, right? Depending on how your brain works and what kind of annoys you and frustrates you, certain metronomes might annoy you a little bit, just depending what the sound is like. So a lot of metronomes, they'll have different options for what click sound you're listening to. If one of them is giving you a headache, try a different one. Now, if you don't know what to do with a metronome, if you're a beginner, one of the things that you definitely want to start doing, and do this for a few minutes every day, set your metronome slow, 60 BPM, 50 BPM, and just pluck your big E string right on every metronome click. You do that for 1 or 2 minutes a day. After a few weeks, you are really going to start noticing your sense of timing improving. And that's not a hard thing to practice, right? You can just kind of sit there and for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, just click along to your metronome playing the big E string. And like I said, your timing will be getting drastically better, even though the exercise feels easy. So that's a great one for beginners. And if you're a little bit more on the intermediate or advanced side, I would really suggest to Google the BPM of whatever song you're learning. Say you're learning House of the Rising Sun, Google, okay, what's the BPM of House of the Rising Sun? Put that speed on your metronome and try playing the song to your metronome. Figure out where the beats on the metronome lie to the song. It's a fantastic rhythmic exercise, but that's number 2, is working on your timing and your rhythm. Number 3 is going to be drills and technique. Now, if you separate 1 minute of your practice session to working on a drill or a technique, your playing is going to be getting so much better so quickly. Here's the thing, if you're just learning songs, you're getting technique, right? But you're getting small bits of technique. Now, of course, like I said, learning songs is still very important, but as far as building technique goes, songs isn't the best thing to do. The best thing to do is to work on drills that are targeting techniques. So one of the most common drills in the world of guitar, it's been around for over 100 years, is this one right here, the spider walk, or the chromatic scale. You go 1, 2, 3, 4 across every single string. When you finish, you come back down. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. The exact opposite. Right? So ascending was 1, 2, 3, 4. Descending is 4, 3, 2, 1. That exercise right there, like I said, it's so common. And what you want to do here is every day spend a minute or 2 working on that with a metronome, increasing your speed every time you practice it. Increase your metronome speed. Try it at 70 first. Next time when you got 70, bring it up to 80. Then bring it up to 90. Do this for a few weeks until you feel like your skill has plateaued on this exercise. That's when YouTube comes in. After you've plateaued on the metronome doing the normal spider walk chromatic scale exercise, watch a video on one of the variations. Like I said, there's so many of these, and one example is doing this, the kind of skip here, also known as the drunken spider walk, but it's a similar exercise, slightly different. So after you've got that initial spider walk down, speed it up till you've plateaued. then move on to another variation on the exercise. Doing the variations is something you can practice for years to constantly be improving your speed and technique in literally just 1 or 2 minutes every day. And number 4 was scale practice. Scales are the building blocks to everything you want to do on this instrument. Solos come from scales. Riffs come from scales. Even chords come from scales. That's one that not a lot of people think, but chords totally come from scales. So scales are the building blocks. So you really need to be studying scales. And one of the best things about the modern era are YouTube backing tracks. There are so many free, incredible backing tracks on YouTube. A backing track is essentially a backing band. So it usually has drums, bass, guitar, maybe another guitar or an organ or something, and they'll be playing a song without a melody or a lead. And that's where you step in. Say you know the A minor pentatonic scale, this one right here. You played that before? Well then go on YouTube and type in A minor backing track and click on whatever one is up first. And then what you want to do is not only run the scale to the backing track, but you also want to try to improvise and make things up in the scale to that backing track. Just practicing the scale on its own, it's good for your technique, it's good for your knowledge of the instrument, but when you get a backing track going behind that and you're running the scale and improvising with it, you're doing a whole lot for your creativity as well as your ears. When your ears hear these scale notes in context to a backing track, it's like going to the gym for your ears, you guys. It's working your ear training, working your musical knowledge, your creativity, so many important things. So backing tracks on YouTube are your best friend. Whatever scale you know, type it in and add backing track to the end of that and just start improvising along. Now there's also a few websites that you should know about too for scales. One of them is called Fretflip. The other one is called guitarscale.org. Both of these, essentially what you do is you click in, C minor pentatonic, enter, and then it shows you guitar fretboard diagrams for all of those scales. So any scale you want to learn, you can punch in on either of these two websites and it'll show you all of the scales on the guitar and how to play those across the fretboard. So these are really cool things. There doesn't have to be a mystery to scales. If you want to see how B minor pentatonic looks, simply type it in on one of these websites and it'll show you exactly how to play the scale. And if you feel like you're not progressing on the guitar, there's a good chance that it's not actually your fault. I've built this really cool custom practice tool that I want to tell you about. So essentially, this is going to be something that identifies whatever problem you have with progressing on the guitar, and it's going to provide you with a solution in a lesson that's custom tailored to whatever it is affecting your progress on the guitar. And in minutes from now, find out exactly what's holding you back on the guitar and receive a lesson to help you conquer it and keep improving. So don't waste years of your life practicing bad habits. Take the quiz, jump over that hurdle, and get progressing on the guitar just like you always wanted to. I will see you in the next lesson.